Contract Cap 103 D3 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2019. The first reading of this bill took place on October 3, 2019. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, this bill seeks to amend the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract Cap D3 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 PSC Act. Specifically, the bill seeks to amend Section 5 of the PSC Act to bring the provision of that section into conformity with the generality of the provisions of the Act and into congruence with the intent and the essence of the production sharing contracts. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, as you are well aware, the PSC is a contractual arrangement for exploration and production of petroleum resources. This is an arrangement whereby the state, as owner of the petroleum resources, engages a contractor to undertake all the financial responsibilities, all the risk, while providing the technical and financial services for the exploration and production of operations for an agreed share in profit oil after payment of royalty, costs, and tax oil. The PSC arrangement was offered by the federal government of Nigeria as a contractual arrangement for the exploration and production of petroleum products in 1991 licensing rounds in order to provide further comfort to the contractors, which is the IOCs. The salient terms of the PSC was codified into a legislation, namely the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contracts Act, Cap D3 LFN 2004, which became effective on January 1, 1993. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, as enunciated by its long title, the PSC Act was enacted to, among other things, give effect to certain fiscal incentives given to the oil and gas companies operating in a deep offshore and inland basin area under production sharing contracts. The Act sought to deliver this fiscal incentive by providing for A, longer duration of oil prospecting licenses, B, reduction in petroleum profit tax, C, investment tax credits or investment tax allowance, and D, a distinctively lower royalty regime based on water depth, which requires that a contractor carrying out petroleum operations in areas from 201 to 500 meters water depth shall pay royalty at 12%. 500 to 800 meters water depth shall pay royalty of 8%. 801 to 1,000 water depth shall pay royalty of 4%, and 0% in areas in excess or beyond 1,000 meters depth, which is where most of the deep offshore exploration activities under this PSC takes place. All of these fiscal incentives are distinct and absent from the provisions of the Petroleum Act and the Petroleum Profit Tax Act, which regulates the fiscal regime of other types of petroleum exploration and production arrangements. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, permit me to state that the above fiscal incentives were given by the federal government of Nigeria in order to A, attract oil and gas companies to the Nigerian deep offshore, B, de-risk the Nigerian deep offshore, which was a new business for oil and gas companies, C, create environment for deployment of new deep offshore technologies, D, allow for rapid cost recovery, and E, assure bankability because the prevailing oil prices was very low, hovering around $13 per barrel when the act was enacted. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, further permit me to state that a cursory reading and literal interpretation of the generality of the provision of the PSC Act shows that at the time of execution of the contract and the enactment of the Act, all parties to the PSC understood that the incentive extended by the Act were excessive, but were necessary to achieve the objective as was stated above. However, all parties to the PSC also understood that the incentives were to all intents and purposes supposed to be ad hoc, improvisational, contingent, and therefore amenable. This is the reason why the Act provided in Section 16 that where the price of crude oil exceeds $20 per barrel, the PSC Act will be reviewed to ensure that the share of federal government of Nigeria in the additional revenue is adjusted to the extent that the PSC shall be economically beneficial to the federal government of Nigeria, and that in any event, the PSC Act shall be liable to be reviewed after 15 years from its commencement in 1993, and every 5 years thereafter. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, the PSC Act recognizes and anticipates the necessity for post-execution and periodic review of the Act once the above objectives have been attained in order to ensure that the government derives maximum and equitable benefits from the PSCs, and to which set out the following review incidents and deadlines in the Act. A, price-induced review of the provision of the PSC Act. That is a review to be undertaken whenever the price of crude oil exceeds $20 per barrel, real terms, in order to increase revenue accruable to the government of the Federation from the PSCs. B, the review of the entire provision of the PSC Act, including sharing formula provisions contained in the Act, 15 years after the commencement of the Act in 1993. And C, review of the entire provision of the PSC Act every 5 years thereafter. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, the extant Act, however, did not provide any mechanism or sanction for the implementation or otherwise of the provisions regarding the statutory periodic review in Section 16. To this end, a new Section 17 and Section 18 have placed responsibility and subsequent consequences for non-compliance with Section 16. It is noteworthy that the Act has achieved the objective of the federal government of Nigeria with respect to which the excessive incentives were given to the PSC contractors. In addition, the watermark for periodic review of the salient provision of the Act, which include increase in oil price above $20 in real terms and 15 years after the commencement of the Act, have already been surpassed. Mr. President, my distinguished and respected colleagues, this bill before the distinguished Senate contains the amendment of salient provisions of PSC Act, which are Section 5 and Section 16 of the Act. This amendment alters the royalty payable by the PSC contractors so that whenever oil price and gas price increases, the share of government increases with the automatic inception of the newly introduced royalty by price mechanism. The bill provides that whenever oil price goes above $35 per barrel, real term, the royalty by price shall kick in for each of the terrains. The royalty regime proposed by this bill for oil and condensate are as follows. A, from $0 per barrel up to $36 per barrel will be 0% royalty. Above $36 per barrel but up to $70 per barrel will be 2% per dollar increased royalty. Above $70 per barrel up to $100 per barrel will be 8% royalty plus 0.2% per dollar increase. Above $100 per barrel and up to $190 per barrel will be 20% royalty plus 0.1% per dollar increase. And above $190 per barrel will be 25% royalty. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this is because as oil price increases, costs also increases. The royalty regime proposed by the bill for natural gas are as follows. 0% for prices from $0 per million British thermal unit BTU and up to and including $2 per million BTU. Over $2 per million BTU and up to and including $6 per million BTU, the royalty rate shall increase by 0.3% for every US dollar 0.1 per million BTU increases in over $2 per million BTU. Over US dollars, $6